And let's continue. John Armington is the son of Bob Armington, a Filipino grape striker who helped from the Agricultural Workers Organizing Committee in Delano. Bob Armington made the formal motion for AWOC to strike the Delano growers during the strike vote meeting on September 7, 1965, the day before the walkouts began. For years, John's mother, Velma Armington, headed up the strike kitchen that fed both Delano and Latino strikers at the Filipino Hall.
His son, John Armington, grew up in a farm labor camp at George Lucas Ranch where his family lived and worked. At 12 years of age, John started joining his father at AWOC meetings and picket lines. Today, he is a successful attorney and a judge in Orange County. Speaking on behalf of the Filipino grape strikers, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome John Armington.
In Filipino, when you wish somebody welcome, this is my home, this is your home, we say mabuhay. So, to all of you, mabuhay! I followed my dad around from the time I grew up at the George Lucas Ranch between here and Early Mark. He was the president of the Filipino community many years and also the worshipful master of the Grand Oriente Filipino Masonic Lodge here in Delano. I followed him when he went to AWOC meetings. There were 2 meetings in Delano. The first one was held when hours. It was hard. There were a lot of people worried. By 1965, the Manongs were already in their 50s and early 60s, worried about enough money to survive and retire on. And the families who had come since World War II had bought homes, had children, and they were worried, if we strike, how long will this go? And if we're only making $1.20 an hour, what else can we do? And if we don't have a job, we're going to lose everything we ever came for. So we had a second meeting. The meeting was to start at 3 o'clock. By noon, the Filipino Hall was filled out the doors with workers and the foreman. And that meeting went for hours, crying, worrying, wondering, hoping to change something. And finally, after many, many, many hours, Larry asked, if there could be a vote. The vote was after my dad made the motion. I remember him standing and talking, and Fred Abad, Brother Fred Abad, who was the last Filipino who lived at the Albani village, seconded the motion. And that day they said, who agrees? The whole room raised its hand. All the Manongs raised their hands. And the next day, at 3 o'clock in the morning, we met at the hall and the strike began. And the strike would not have started if it weren't for Larry Gitlio. AWOC came as an organization because there had been so many strikes Filipinos had been involved in Seattle, Anchorage, Stockton, over many times, many years. My dad remembers in the 1930s, during the Depression, it was so bad. He didn't earn any money for 1 year working near Stockton. He worked for the food they would give him to eat. And you know where they lived? In a barn with horses, not in a camp. It was that bad. So they struggled many, many times and so often lost. And they wondered, would this win? So within a week, within a few days, the water gets turned off, the gas gets turned off, the electricity gets turned off. And where you've been living for 25 years is no longer home. So we leave. Our home with 3 bedrooms has 64 people living in our house. All the Manongs from the camp that didn't have anywhere else to go. Within a week to 10 days, the discussions were had. Cesar agreed earlier than he wanted, but the strike continued with a joint cooperation between the AWOC Filipinos and the farm workers under Cesar Chavez. I didn't know as a 12-year-old that that would be really important, but it turns out I am also an original striker, as were many of my classmates and friends here in Delano. 5 years, in order for people to continue to pay their mortgages, foremen like my dad went from Coachella to Lodi and got jobs, so farm workers on strike could go work for 2 weeks, make enough money working to come back, pay their mortgage, and go back on the picket line for 5 years. So, what is it I want to tell you about the end? We have, as the legacy, Mark Polito, the mayor of Cerritos, Assemblyman Bonta. We have NASA engineers that came from Delano, doctors at UCLA Medical Center, and we are their legacy, and we will never let their memory die.
A very important speech from everybody. You know, we are very honored to be here today. Before we continue with another very, very important guest and una Latina muy importante, we have to welcome Sacramento County Supervisor Phil Serna. Welcome, sir. And also a U.S. District Court judge who worked with Robert F. Kennedy while he was an Attorney General, Mr. Thelton Henderson. And the daughter of Cesar Chavez and Board of Trustees member, Eloise Chavez Carrillo, from the Delano Joint Union High School District. Welcome.
Thank you so much, special guest, for being here this afternoon. Our next speaker is one of the giants of the farm workers and the civil rights and women's movements. She walked these 40 acres. She led and inspired in nearly every aspect of the movement, from organizing and striking to boycotting and negotiation and lobbying. As an enduring icon of the movement, she continues organizing and leading and inspiring, including through the work of the Dolores Huerta Foundation. She has received numerous awards, including the Presidential Medal of Freedom from President Obama. Ladies and gentlemen, she really needs no introduction. Please help me welcome my friend, Dolores Huerta.
Perspective, because often when you see the movie and things like that about Cesar, people think, oh, Cesar walked into the field and all the workers came out on strike. No, it didn't happen that way at all. We started organizing here in Delano in 1962, okay? With a few people, farm workers, a few at a time. You saw Maria Magaña Saludados a minute ago. She had the first house meeting at her house, right there. The first house meeting in Delano in Early March was at her house. And this is the way that the workers were organized, poquito a poquito, juntos, a few at a time, to convince them that they had power, right? That they had power, that they could organize, that they could change things, that they didn't have to depend on anybody to do it for them, that they could do it for themselves. And this is a message I hope that we all take away from the Farm Workers Union, that we have to continue the legacy, to continue to organize, to continue to be involved, to continue to be active. And another bit of history, you know, was 3 years of organizing from 1962 to 1965 before we had that big major Delano strike. But there were a couple of other little strikes before that. There was a strike in the Woodville labor strike, and I want to introduce her, Connie Perez. Would you stand up, Connie? Get over here so people can see you. Connie Perez, and she is now a successful accountant, and she helps the kids not labor camp so that they can go to schools like Harvard, and here's one of them right here. He is just graduated from Harvard. Stand up, okay? Stand up so people can see you. And this is what it's all about. It's about empowerment and making sure that our kids get a quality education. So this is what the farm workers movement is about. Thank you, Connie Perez. Don't forget that name, everybody. Connie Perez, all right? So, you know, when we think about the movement and the impact that it had, and not only here, and sometimes when the farm workers, some of the workers that are here, some of the people who really sacrificed and lost their homes, they lost their homes, they lost everything to make sure that we would be able to win. And then, of course, we had all these wonderful young volunteers, and all the boycott volunteers. Stand up for a quick moment, huh? All the boycott volunteers. And remember, they were working for $5 a week, all right? $5 a week. And then they had to get all of their food from donations and from people that brought us clothes and donations, and that's the way that people lived for the 5 years until we were able to win through that wonderful great boycott. And so when we think of the impact of the Delano Grape strike, not only, of course, when people went out there, all the farm workers that went to all of the cities to do the work that they did, and so many of them are here today, and I hope you really get a chance to talk to them. I always like to mention one person in particular, Marcos Munoz. Okay, is Marcos in the house? Marcos, who thought he was going to Bar, because he had a girlfriend in Barstow, and he ended up in Boston. But he was the first one to clean that city out of table grapes. What courage these people had. You know, like that guy, Marcos, allá atrás. There's Marcos right in the back of him. Marcos could not read or write in Spanish or English, but he got everybody from Harvard and Yale and Brandeis and Boston University to man his picket lines, okay? That's what an organizer does. So, you know, we have to continue this because we know that the gains that we won for the farm workers here in California, other workers throughout the country do not have them, except for the toilets, okay? We did get the toilets in the fields, and we call it cold drinking water, and but all the other things, the right to organize, unemployment insurance, which, by the way, Reagan vetoed 3 times in a row, you know? So we have to remember that our work is not finished, so we have to continue the work, we have to continue organizing. And one more thing, we've got to make sure we get involved in voting. This is the legacy also of the union. We got people registered, and we make them get out to vote so we get good people to represent them, okay? So, I want to just say a couple of vivas. Que viva la Unión de Campesinos! All right. No se puede. Everybody, again, one more time. Sí, se puede. Sí, se puede. Sí, se
Un gran aplauso para nuestra querida Dolores Huerta. Aquí la tiene.
A big round of applause for Dolores Huerta, ladies and gentlemen.
Antes de continuar, before we continue with another very important group, we have also some other people that we need to recognize today.
Ladies and gentlemen, a woman who needs no introduction, once again, Helen Chavez.
Esposa del nuestro querido César Chávez. Aquí la tienen.
She's right here in the front row, looking beautiful as ever. Thank you.
She gets younger every day. Let me tell you, you look so good, Helen. Gracias a Dios. Gracias a Dios. You look beautiful.
Thank you so much for being here today, Helen.